Howdy folks, welcome back to Mingles with Jingles, episode 50. Feels like a bit of a landmark. I should probably do something special for the 50th episode, but I probably won't. I'm far too lazy. This episode of Mingles with Jingles might be a little rushed as well, because I left it kind of late to get this one recorded. I just didn't have time to do a wanker of the week this week, so I do apologise for that, but I've been playing the Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, it's not great, but it's alright. And, well, you know what it's like when you get into a game. Before you know where the time is, it's like, oh shit, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I haven't done Mingles with Jingles yet. So, yeah, sorry about this. But more on the Elder Scrolls Online later on in the video. The first thing I wanted to do this week was talk about unlocking aircraft in War Thunder. I have a whole bunch of new aircraft in War Thunder. Speaking of unlocking new aircraft, somebody posted a question on one of my previous videos, quite recently. I can't remember exactly which tech tree he was talking about, but he said something along the lines of, "Oh, Jingles, you seem to have advanced, quite quickly in such and such a tech tree, whichever one it was. How did you get there so quickly?" My British aircraft, my Japanese aircraft, I ground them out pretty much the old-fashioned way. I love flying the British and the Japanese, I love dogfighting. I haven't got all the British yet, there's still a couple of Meteors that I don't have, but I've got all the Japanese aircraft now. There's not as many of them to get. And I did that by mostly flying the existing aircraft, the way you're supposed to. But here's the thing about War Thunder, and this has only been possible since they introduced the new tech tree and the research points, and I didn't actually fully understand the implications of the changes that they've made until relatively recently. And the thing is, if you don't want to fly aircraft in order to unlock all of the top tier aircraft, you don't have to in War Thunder. All you have to do is use gold to unlock all of your equipment modules, which will accumulate a metric shit ton of free experience, and then you can convert that free experience into research points and unlock every aircraft in the game. All you have to do is be prepared to throw a seriously large amount of money at Gaijin Entertainment. Now, while I'm failing miserably at shooting this Yak 17 down, let's just talk about that for a minute. It's not pay to win. I need to get that out right at the start. It is definitely not pay to win. It's pay to progress, no question about it, but it ain't pay to win. You can throw money at the game, unlock an ME-262, doesn't mean you're going to know how to fly it. World of Tanks has something similar, in that, but it only goes so far. At this point, I'm about to get shredded by the friendly aircraft behind. There it is. Generally, under normal circumstances, this would be pissing me off, but I can kind of understand the frustration that the guy behind me must be going through at the moment. I've been on this Yak 17's arse for a minute. I haven't hit him once. This guy behind me must be thinking, for Christ's sake, either shit or get off the pot. If you're not going to get out of the way, and you can't shoot him down, then you better get out of the way, because either way, I am taking a shot. So, normally this sort of thing would be winding me up, but I can kind of understand it. I was really sucking hard at this. But back to the whole pay to progress thing. The whole concept of unlocking stuff with free experience is nothing new. World of Tanks have been doing it for years. You've always been able to use free experience in World of Tanks to unlock equipment upgrades and even the next tank in line. That's nothing new. But World of Tanks drew a very important line in the sand. In order to get that free experience, you had to actually play tanks. You couldn't just effectively buy free experience, which is what you can do in War Thunder. And I have done it in War Thunder. This is how I have an ME-262 in the German tech tree. This is how I have an F-86 Sabre in the American tech tree. And this is how I have a MiG-15 in the Russian tech tree. I threw money at the game. And it kind of creeps up on me. Anybody who's ever been tempted to shortcut their way, you know, when you've unlocked a new aircraft and you can spend a little bit of gold to unlock an ammunition belt or an airframe upgrade or an engine upgrade. But every time you spend that little bit of gold, the accumulated total of free experience at the top of your garage screen keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And the only way you can touch that free experience is to spend gold to research new aircraft. And it is frighteningly expensive. Now there's all different kinds of rank 5 aircraft in War Thunder. Not all rank 5 aircraft are the same. Not all rank 4, rank 3, rank 2 or even rank 1 aircraft are the same. The battle rating differs wildly. And your starter jets in particular are not terribly good. Aircraft like the Meteor F3 aren't great. Aircraft like the MiG-9 aren't great. But the top of the tree aircraft, your F-86Fs, MiG-15s, your Meteor F8s, they all cost 420,000 researchable XP. Now the convertible research points that you see at the top of the screen. When that aircraft is in research and you mouse over it, you get a little convert bar. That's what we're talking about there. Now that stuff converts at a rate of 25 golden eagles for every 1,000 convertible research points. So in other words, in order to get 420,000 research point aircraft like a MiG-15 or an F-86F or a Meteor F-8, it's going to cost you, even buying gold in bulk from Gaijin's website, over 50 euros per aircraft just to convert the experience. But let's not forget that in order to get all of that convertible experience in the first place, you have to throw even more gold at the game, unlocking modules on existing aircraft. And yeah, sure, you do get a small amount of convertible experience as a percentage of the XP that you earn every time you fly a battle, but we're talking about not flying a battle and getting the aircraft anyway, you know, that's the whole point. And so what it actually works out to is taking into account the amount of modules on existing aircraft that you need to unlock to get the kind of convertible XP that you need to unlock a 420,000 research point aircraft. You're paying in the region of 100 euros per aircraft. You know, convert that into whichever currency you wish. It's a lot of money. And that puts it completely out of the price range of, well, most people playing the game. It is only for people with large amounts of disposable income who can afford to exploit this game mechanic. And as you can see from my disastrous showing on the ME262, it doesn't make you any better at flying the aircraft. And yet, even though my initial reaction was moral outrage that this should even be possible in a free-to-play game, is it really any different to buying a premium tank or a premium aircraft? You can buy the Dora starter pack and jump straight in at rank 4. First game you play, rank 4 aircraft. You won't have a clue what you're doing, you'll get shot down over and over and over again, but you'll be playing a rank 4 aircraft. You've always been able to buy premium tanks in World of Tanks and jump straight in. You know, the very first game you play in World of Tanks will be in a T-34 Tier 8 American heavy tank, and you'll get your ass handed to you over and over and over. Much as I've been getting my ass handed to me in my ME262. Although I do seem to be doing quite well in the ME163. I don't know. I can't explain this. Beginner's luck. You know, is it really any different? My gut says, yes, it is different. My gut says, this is wrong. You shouldn't be able to do this. And yet, the more I've thought about it, the more I've come up with justifications for it, if you know what I mean. And I'm struggling to pinpoint exactly how this is different from buying premium vehicles. But I think it's important that we get this into perspective, because while it is theoretically possible, and somebody has probably done it, it is theoretically possible for you to download War Thunder and then flash your credit card, buy a metric shit ton of golden eagles, and then spend an hour clicking buttons on the research tree in order to get yourself an F-86F or a MiG-15 without ever having flown a minute in the game. But it's highly unlikely that a lot of people are doing that, because it would be prohibitively expensive. I mean, I haven't sat down and worked out the numbers, but if you're talking €100 for a top-of-the-tree rank 5 aircraft, and you are talking €100 for a top-of-the-tree rank 5 aircraft, then in order to get to that rank 5 aircraft, because let's not forget there's a lot of different aircraft at the various different ranks, it's probably, and I haven't worked out the exact figures, although I'm sure that by the time the comments end on this video, somebody will have sat down and worked it out, but I would not be at all surprised if it wasn't going to cost you easily in the region of €1,000. Convert that into whichever currency you like, in order to, from scratch, without playing a single minute of the game, get yourself a rank 5 top-of-the-tree jet aircraft. Now, I certainly haven't done that. I mean, jeez, I'm not stupid. I don't have that much money to throw at a computer game, but just taking the shortcuts that I did from some of the air forces to get from some of the rank 4 aircraft to some of the rank 5 aircraft was a real strain on my bank account. And the only reason I could justify it was, doing videos of these aircraft is what I do. Most people just wouldn't even be able to entertain the idea of spending the kind of money that you need to in order to unlock these aircraft. And yet the very idea that you can do it, if you're stupid enough and rich enough, you can do it. Even though I can't think of a single in-game benefit of going to the expense of doing it in the first place, the idea that it is actually possible just doesn't seem right. So, plenty to talk about in the comments section of this video. We're no stranger to controversy on this YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm really, really interested to know what everybody else thinks about this whole thing. I mean, I just don't know what to think. On the one hand, it's a free-to-play game, and it's the people who are paying who are keeping it free to play for everybody who isn't paying. So there's that. But have Gaijin taken it that one little step too far with this whole, being able to unlock every aircraft in the game if you're just prepared to flash enough credit card? See what you guys think. Meanwhile, I think I've actually found a jet or rocket aircraft that I don't suck in. I seem to have been doing me and my big mouth. Well, up until the point where I opened my big mouth, I was doing really, really well in the ME-163. And, this totally illustrates my point. I never played jets. I've had the Meteor F3, the Sea Meteor, 2 versions of the Meteor F4 for months. Never fly them. I just don't like flying jets. And I have thrown some money at the game, and I've unlocked F-86A, the first of the Sabres. I've unlocked the MiG-15, and I've unlocked the ME-262. And I haven't got a clue what I'm doing in them. ME-163 did pretty well in. I think it was just beginner's luck. And I think it's telling that the aircraft that I prefer flying, the British, the Japanese, or the aircraft, the Spitfires, the Zeros, things like that, are the aircraft that fly nothing whatsoever like jets. And that's probably my problem. And the ironic thing is, I get into a jet game, and I tend to suck in the jets and do better in the prop aircraft. Like the TA-152. Alright, I didn't do particularly well in the BF-109K4 earlier, but we'll just keep that between us. That's that MiG-9 that shot me down in the ME-163. He's on fire. He's put the fire out. But I've got a perfect position on his tail. I'm going to need to watch out for friendly fire here. These other guys are already attacking him, so if I stay above them, I shouldn't get him out of line of fire. I just swoop in. Bingo. There you go, jet kill. Oh, Yak 9T on my tail. Bring this thing around, he can catch me in the climb. This is arcade. Right, there's a Yak 3 on him. Where did he go? Where did he go? Where did he go? Down there. Okay, loop around. No, he's climbing after me. Evade. Break. Shit, LA5 coming in. Even the reviews got him. And the Yak 3 got the Yak 9T. So we are clear. You see, prop aircraft. I know what to do with prop aircraft. I mean, I know what to do with jets as well, I'm just no good at doing it. And I think one of the other things when you get into a game with jets involved is that often in, you know, rank 2, 3, 4 aircraft, I'm scanning what's going on around me, I'm looking, I'm spotting a bunch of enemy aircraft, I'm thinking, okay, they're 4 kilometres away, that's no problem, I've got a minute at least. You don't have a minute at least before they're on you when you're flying jets. Hello. That's the guy in the MiG-9 I shot down earlier. He's gone mad. He's coming for revenge. Okay. No problem. Come and have a go if you think you are. There he goes. Turned inside him. He couldn't get a firing solution on me. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. And now he's coming around. Brake. There he is. Oh, he's down there. The TA152 rolls like a dream. And, oh, look at it. Now I'm on your tail. Oh, and you're dead. Oh, and your little friend, too. Oh, make it easy, why don't you? Oh, man. You see, prop aircraft. You know, I can handle prop aircraft. I don't know what it is. I really don't know why I suck so much at jets. And yeah, I've thrown the money at the game. And yeah, I've unlocked a couple of jets with it. It hasn't done me any good. It didn't turn me into an overnight jet ace. You know, I still suck at flying the bloody things. I still don't like flying the things. And we've lost. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. Today I've mostly been losing some, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's the thing I like about War Thunder, even though I know I sound like a miserable old bastard and I'm always complaining about this, that and the other. I do love War Thunder. You know, I love World of Tanks. I love War Thunder. You know, I criticise the games because I care about them, and they've got their faults. You know, neither games are perfect, but they're both great games. And what I love about this game in particular was, look at those scores. We clearly had the superior team, right? Across the board, not by much, but you can see that we lost less aircraft and killed more aircraft than the enemy team. Just not enough to drive their ticket counter down before they won by protecting the landing craft. And we didn't. And so an inferior team actually won the game by playing the mission, rather than just showboating in the fighters. And that's what I love about War Thunder. That and the fact that even though I lost that mission, I don't really care. I mean, I had a lot of fun flying it, and I feel as if I got adequate compensation in the form of XP and credits for the amount of effort that I put in to playing that mission. And let's not forget, before everybody gets too carried away in the raging argument that I'm sure is going to break out in the comments section regarding the whole pay-to-progress nature of War Thunder, it is just a game. I know we do tend to invest a lot of ourselves into our computer games. We dedicate a lot of time and effort and sometimes money to them. And we probably take them a little bit more seriously than we should. They are just games. You know, regardless of the outcome of any of the discussions that happen in the comments section of this video, the next rocket supply launch to the International Space Station is not going to be affected by it. So just bear that in mind when you're going at each other in the comments of this video. Right? It's just a game. Project Man Cave update. These arrived today. £35. Pretty expensive for what they are, but this is a set of 4 Iron Man arc reactor drinks coasters. I thought I'm going to have to get some drinks coasters for this new desk, because, well, you should have seen the state the old one got into with coffee coke stains all over it. And I can't just get any old drink coaster, can I? So these things here, Iron Man arc reactor drink coasters. And you're thinking, well, okay, they're not bad, but £35? Why so expensive, Jingles? Ah, good question. Glad you asked. Yep, that's where the money went. These things light up. I saw them and I just had to have them. So there you go, latest man cave update. Arc reactor, Iron Man, drinks coasters, totally worth it. Well, before this turns into an episode of War Thunder with the mighty Jingles, I'd really better think of something else to talk about. And, oh look, World of Tanks. That'll do. Nicholas Hamblin wants to know whatever happened to Listy's book proposition for World of Tanks. I'd almost forgotten about that, actually, so thanks for reminding me. Those of you who've been following Mingles with Jingles from the beginning may remember that way back in one of the very early episodes of Mingles with Jingles, one of the guys that I go to museum visits with, known on the forums in World of Tanks as Listy, he's a tank history buff. He had submitted a proposal to Wargaming to write a series of small books focusing on individual tanks within the game, and maybe have a bonus code for some gold, some equipment for the tank that the book was about, for example. And Wargaming had said, yeah, not a bad idea. Have you done any market research? And that's where I came in. Listy asked me to ask you lot whether you thought this book idea would be popular, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. A lot of people seem to want to read books about tanks, and I think that's fantastic. And so, armed with the market research data, Listy went back to Wargaming, and absolutely nothing happened. Sorry, guys. It just didn't go anywhere. With that, it's a real shame. Listy really does know his stuff. He's an invaluable asset to have around when I'm walking around one of these tank museums, because he knows. I might be looking at a tank and trying to figure out whether it's an M4A1, an M4A2. Listy knows. He knows exactly what model of tank it is by the applique armour on the side, the position of the gunner's periscope. He knows his tanks. You may have even read some of his work without realising it. He's had a number of articles published on Wargaming EU's main webpage. He's had articles published on Overlord's blog. He's had articles published on Silent Stalker's For the Record blog. He's quite an authority on tank history. It's a real shame that this book project never really got off the ground, and I don't know why it didn't. I imagine that Wargaming get a whole bunch of proposals from a whole bunch of different people, and who can say why one idea gets the green light and another one doesn't. But no book proposition from Listy, I'm afraid. It just didn't happen. Nicholas also had a second question, and his second question was, do I think I have an influence on the way people play World of Tanks? And the example that he gave in the question was specifically Pearl River and the back valley where the bridge is. The bridge itself is a natural choke point, and he has noticed in his own experience that since I put a couple of videos up of Pearl River with some very, very aggressive gameplay, pushing over that bridge and getting stuck in and fighting it out in the valley at close quarters with enemy tanks, that he has noticed the games of Pearl River that he's been playing since that video went up, a lot more people are doing that rather than camping the choke points at either end of the valley. And oh look, here's a game on Pearl River where we advance very, very aggressively into exactly the sort of situation that he's talking about in his question. So, do I think I have an influence on the way people play World of Tanks? Yes, I think I probably do, both good and bad. I do have a big audience. I mean, over 200,000 subscribers is a big audience by anybody's standards. And I am conscious of the fact that when you get an audience that large, you're going to have a massive spectrum of people watching your videos. You're going to have the people who believe every word that you say and treat it as the gospel. You're going to have the people who only come to comment on my videos to give me shit. There's enough of those as well. And And you know, in the middle, you're going to have people who are prepared to listen to what I have to say, but are going to make their own mind up about it. And I would prefer that the overwhelming majority of people watching my videos fell into that middle category. And in an ideal world, that would be the case. You know, everybody would watch my video, think, well, I see what you're saying, but I don't agree because this, you know, and that's absolutely fine. You're thinking, you know, you're using the brain that God gave you. I'm a massive fan of that. I believe people should do it wherever possible. Then, of course, you've got the trolls and the haters, the kind of people who only visit the channel in order to downvote whichever video I've just uploaded, and only watch the video for as long as it takes them to find something they can argue about in the comments. I'm sure they think they're hurting me in some way, and I'm, you know, quite happy for them to continue thinking that. I don't really care as long as they keep coming back to the channel and clicking on buttons and interacting. My advertisers think they're great. So, you know, nothing I say is ever going to change the opinion of that particular group of YouTube channel visitors. They're never going to go away. God knows I keep giving them enough stuff to beat me over the head with by repeatedly getting stuff wrong whenever I put a video up. But yeah, I'm only human. And I wouldn't want them to go away. You know, every now and then I just ban one of them, make them angry enough to make a second YouTube account so they can come back with another unique account and oh look, another visitor to the channel. Just to continue downvoting my videos. Got to keep the advertisers happy. So yeah, anyway, that's them. And then of course there's the third group of visitors to the channel, the people that believe every word that I say and treat every utterance that comes from my mouth like the word of God, which is immensely flattering, but it's also really, really dangerous because I get stuff wrong. I get stuff wrong all the time. Regular visitors to the channel will be only too aware of this. I mean, I am a one-man operation. I don't have any editor checking everything that I do for consistency before the video gets uploaded, and so I get stuff wrong. And when I get stuff wrong, it can be something as trivial as mistaking a T34 for a T3485 in a video because I have terrible eyesight, and I'm actually watching the video in a small, low-resolution render video window in Cyberlink Power Director while recording the commentary, and it's really, really hard to work out the names of the tanks, you know, simple as that. But alternatively, when I get stuff wrong, it could be something potentially serious. And I'll give you an example of the sort of thing that I mean. World of Warplanes. I hate World of Warplanes. I think it is one of the biggest piles of crap to ever be inflicted on the gaming community in years. And I stand by that assessment of the game. I think I have very good reasons for having that opinion, and I 100% stand behind that opinion. However, there are people out there who like the Twilight movies. Festering stains on the soul of humanity though those movies are, they do have a large audience. And just because I can't stand World of Warplanes, and have gone on record numerous times saying World of Warplanes is a pile of dog shit, that doesn't mean you might not like World of Warplanes. I mean, Justin Bieber sells records. Somebody out there likes his music. I know, it makes no sense, but the facts speak for themselves. People like Justin Bieber. God knows why, but he is popular. By a similar token, bear with me here, I realise that the comparison is getting a bit laboured, but there are people out there who like World of Warplanes. There aren't many of them, but it's actually relatively popular in Europe, not so much in North America, hardly at all in Eastern Europe and Russia, but on the EU server it has something of an audience. Now, here's the point I'm making. If you fall into the category of those people who just listen to everything that I say and take it as gospel, and you have watched any of my World of Warplanes videos, you will never have tried World of Warplanes for yourself. I have potentially cost wargaming a lot of money by saying what I've said about World of Warplanes. And I'm not sorry about that, because I feel it's my duty to give an honest, critical opinion on the games that I cover. But what I am sorry about is that there are people who don't give it a chance, because you may like it, regardless of what my opinion of the game is. And this is the kind of thing that I am repeatedly trying to get across in my videos. Yeah, I may say this about a subject or that about a subject, but what I want you to do is look at the reasons why I'm saying this about a subject, look at the reasons why I'm saying that about a subject, and make your own mind up. And I certainly do believe, and fervently hope, that the majority of my audience falls into that middle category. You know, the kind of people who have all sorts of different reasons for coming to the channel and watching the videos. They may not learn anything new, but they're entertained by the way I talk about a subject, or they're interested in the opinion that I might have on something, but they are perfectly capable of making their own mind up on the subject, thank you very much, regardless of what I might have to say about it. But at the same time, you have to be realistic and understand that there is going to be a segment of your audience who are going to just take everything that you say at face value. And, oh, Jingles said it, so it must be true. And hopefully, those guys are watching this video and paying attention right now, because this is the important part. While I will continue to make every effort to ensure that the information and opinions that I give you are as factual and honest as I possibly can, I am going to continue to get stuff wrong because I am old and crap. And also brutally honest. The single best thing you can do for yourselves, therefore, is to make your own mind up on whatever subject I may happen to be talking about at any given time. By all means, use the information that I am imparting to you in these videos as a starting point for learning more about the subject yourself, whatever that subject may be, whether it's World of Tanks, whether it's world history, whatever. You know, if I have stimulated your interest in a subject, then great. But that's just the beginning, not the end, right? I am certainly not the only expert out there. In fact, a lot of the stuff that I talk about, I am far from being an expert on. And you absolutely should not be just using me as your only source of information on a subject. There's a big old internet out there. There are plenty of other YouTubers, lots of other World of Tanks players, lots of other War Thunder players who are significantly better at playing the games than I am. I live stream with some of them twice a week. Quickie Baby and Circumflexers also have their own YouTube channels, and they are far, far better World of Tanks players than I will ever be. I made the point earlier of saying that I don't have anybody checking my facts for me. Well, you know, that's not strictly true. I've got over 200,000 people checking my facts for me. I've got you lot checking my facts for me, and that's exactly the way it should be. Anyway, coming to the end of the video, not now, but soon, and one of the last things I wanted to talk about in this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles was again to do with World of Tanks. And this was something that, well, it was a subject that I raised on Quickie Baby's live stream just last Thursday. And I'd read somewhere that Wargaming were thinking of introducing an XP and credit bonus system in World of Tanks for taking damage, you know, for tanking. And when I say tanking, I mean, you know, the traditional role in an MMO of the player who takes the hits so that the weak members of his team don't have to. And I think this is a fantastic idea if done properly. And I'll give you an example of the sort of thing I'm talking about. Hands up, everybody who's been in the kind of situation where you might be on Abbey, the Abbey map in World of Tanks, and you're in a top tier heavy tank, something with a lot of armor and a lot of health. You start from the south, and you immediately take a right turn and go to head up the north-south road that runs along the eastern side of the map next to the river. And you drive forward 50 meters, turn around and realise that your entire team has gone in the other direction, and you are now all alone on that bottom corner of the map. And then 4 enemy heavy tanks and a tank destroyer come rolling down from the north towards you. And you fight that corner as long as you possibly can, taking hit after hit after hit, and all you get for your efforts is a dead tank, right? Taking damage doesn't give you XP, it doesn't give you credits. You may have single-handedly won the game for your team by holding that corner and fighting off overwhelmingly superior numbers of tanks, but you're not doing much in the way of damage, and so you don't get much in the way of credits and experience for effectively winning the game. Now, I'm sure we've all been in that situation, and if you haven't, give it time, you will be. Now, I personally think that implementing some system that rewards people for taking hits for the team is a fantastic idea. And I raised this subject on Quickie Baby's livestream on Thursday last week, and as usual, Quickie Baby immediately saw the problem that I didn't see. You don't really want to be encouraging people to take damage in any kind of fighting game. The game is all about doing damage, not getting punched in the face over and over and over again. And there's a very real danger. I mean, at the time when we were talking about it, we were dodging tank shells, and Quickie Baby didn't really articulate it very well at the time. And I've since had time to think about what it was that he said and see that he does actually have a very, very good point. Initially, I thought it could just be as simple as, well, the game already records how much potential damage you have received during the course of a game, and just base any XP and credit reward off that. But what you don't want to do is encourage people to just drive into positions where they take a lot of damage. Imagine what it would be like. Suddenly, now I can get XP and credits and progress in the game just for taking damage rather than doing damage. Okay, I'm just going to get myself a KV5 or an IS3 and just drive right up the middle of the map, angle the tank, and go AFK. And repeat that over and over and over again. Do you really want all of your top tier heavy tanks in a match to be doing that? Because I guarantee you, and Quickie Baby realised this long before I did, guarantee you that if you could progress in World of Tanks by doing that, you can bet people would be doing that. So, this is one of those things that initially, when you don't think about it too much, seems like a perfectly good, logical idea just waiting to happen. But when you do actually start to consider the implications, it's wide open to abuse. And if there's one thing I've learned about playing games on the internet, it's that if you can abuse a game mechanic, then stand by, because that game mechanic is going to get the shit abused out of it. So, once again, over to you in the comments. How would you police this? How would you implement a system that adequately and fairly rewarded players, particularly we're talking about, heavy tank drivers here, doing a heavy tank's job and taking hits so that the tank destroyers and the medium tanks and the light tanks don't have to? How would you implement that system into a game like World of Tanks without it being left wide open to abuse? Well, anyway, rapidly coming to the end of the video now. Even without having Wanker of the Week in this week's Mingles with Jingles, because I forgot what day it was and ended up playing Elder Scrolls Online until 3 o'clock in the morning when I should have been doing Mingles with Jingles. I'm so bad. And I just wanted to close this video off with a couple of things that I spotted in the news headlines this week, which amused me greatly. The first one was the headline from America that James Franco has apologised for flirting with a 17-year-old. James Franco, for those of you who may not realise, is he's a movie actor. He first came to fame by playing the Green Goblin's son in the Spider-Man movies, for which I hated and despised him because I hated the Spider-Man movies. Sorry. But I've actually come to like him. Particularly for the role he played in Pineapple Express, the only good thing in a Seth Rogen movie. Well, anyway, apparently he was flirting with a 17-year-old and got caught and has been forced to apologise for it. And America is in moral outrage that, James Franco, potential paedophile. And I couldn't help but laugh my ass off that this was a news headline, because I am sure that I was not alone in the majority of people in Europe who saw this news headline and just thought, yeah, so? The age of consent in Europe is 16 in most countries. We really don't think it's a big deal, I'm afraid. Sorry, America. We're just depraved over here. And the other news headline this week, which I had to laugh at, was you may have heard the news that a member of the Coldstream Guards, the guards at Buckingham Palace, pointed his bayonet on the end of his rifle at somebody trying to get into Buckingham Palace. And this has caused a major stir in the British press this week. What had actually happened was somebody was being an arsehole, trying to get in through the gate of Buckingham Palace. And the police on the gate were dealing with it, and the soldier whose duties are guarding Buckingham Palace came over to intervene and pointed his rifle with a bayonet fixed at this potential intruder. And the headlines are all, oh, Buckingham Palace guard points bayonet at potential intruder. Security issues raised at Buckingham Palace. Hang on a minute. Let's just, tune out all the bullshit, okay? Take a step back and look at the actual facts of the headline. What actually happened here is that a guard, right, wait for it, guarded. It's his job. Why is this news? Is there really so little going on in the world that this makes the headlines of the national newspapers? Well, it could be substantially worse. I mean, if Buckingham Palace Guard takes his duties seriously is the worst thing that happened in Britain this week, then I suppose that's actually something to be grateful for. And that, I'm afraid, is it for this week's Mingles with Jingles. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, take care out there, enjoy playing whatever you're playing, and I'll catch you next time.